Well gathering. So we do these every month. They're always about something new and fun and exciting. This month, obviously, February, month of love. We're figuring, everything. There's more about having connected love. So Lindsay's our clinical resident, and she's gonna be kind of walking us through it. We got a couple more people joining. But for everyone who signed up and showed up, your name has been entered into this really fun, swirly, raffle little thing. And so you guys can win either an essential oil or a t-shirt of your choosing. Oh, let me go, girl. Just gotta show off the new swag. So we got these cool little t-shirts, little guy kicked back, and then on the back it says rest of the sweet sauce. So pretty fun. So let's hope your name gets strong. Let's be present to win. Next month we are doing on March 11th is like a fitness boot camp. And that was to raise money for this Whole Life Foundation, which provides scholarships for people who can't afford their wellness services. And that'll be like a 30-minute bar, 30-minute spin, 30-minute yoga. I amplify. So it's gonna be fun. You will get your booty kicked, but it's all going to a good cause. So that one costs money, that one's not free, but again, going to help support scholarships, people can't afford it. And then at the end of the month, we have our functional medicine approach to anxiety and depression. So we have a functional medicine doctor coming in to talk through answer coaching anxiety and depression from a functional medicine standpoint. So with that said, Lindsay's gonna take it away and we'll draw the name for the prize at the end. So. All right, so we're gonna make this like conversational. So do you have something to say or jump in, feel free to add anything that I talk about. Yeah, so but I know both of you guys personally. So I know that you and Lynn are engaged and you're married. So we're also gonna be talking about how it could be geared towards like relationships with your family and friends, but a lot of this is geared towards like spouse and partners, things like that. Yes, connecting with the ones you love. So a little bit about myself. I'm a graduate student and clinical resident here at the Naval Center, and I've been married for 5.5 years. I have a 20-month-old son, and something I enjoy is running. So I'd like to go around and everybody can. You can say your name, you can say your relationship status if you want to, or how long you've been together, you have any kids, and yeah, something you enjoy. So we'll start with you.
All right, my name is Amber. I have been married for how many? 7 years, almost 7 years this year. I have a 2.5-year-old boy and a almost 1-year-old boy. And then something that I'm doing is like to make jewelry.
I'll be the next one. So my name is Amy. We're engaged. We're married in November. Since for a very, very long time. 10 years over. Yes, something like that. He has a daughter. I don't have any children. And something I like to do. I love to bake. That's what we love.
Well, I'm Lance, as she gave that away. I do have a daughter. She is 6 years old. And we are going to be married on November 12th. Nice. Something I do enjoy doing is playing tennis.
Oh, very cool. I am lucky. I own Naval Center. I've been married for almost 5 years in June. Right. We have one on the way. I'm just going first. Congratulations. Thank you. And I do not enjoy money.
Paul, one of the cooker, I enjoy the outdoors as well. We really love pickleball right now. And you're trying. We enjoy it.
Where do you do that around here? Everyone.
There's lots of stuff.
Support everyone. Greenville Lake, Castle Name, Carolina Beach.
We just put some lines at like the Legacy Stadium.
Legion.
Legion.
Yeah.
Lots of places.
All right, so what we'll cover is we're gonna be talking about disconnected relationships, the sound house relationship, which you have a copy of, creating love maps, turning towards, positive perspective, managing conflict and fondness and admiration, the four horsemen, life dreams, shared meaning, and perhaps not for Q&A. All right, so what drives disconnect in our relationships? So some of the things I put on there is drifting, criticism, disruptions to daily life, distance, disagreements, and defensiveness, and digital distractions is a big one. Can y'all think of some others, or you might want to give like a personal example of something that you feel like causes disconnect in your relationship? I'll like give a personal example, like for me, I feel like the time that I felt like my husband and I were like at a disconnect was, he's a deputy in Brunswick County, and so he's on night shift. And so he would sleep during the day and then work during the night, so that was really hard, and I felt like that was the time that I felt we were really disconnected, due to the distance, but thankfully he's on day shift now, so that's much better, but yeah, y'all have like a example of the time that you feel like disconnect plays a part in your relationships. It could just be like with your family or your friends or your spouse or. Yeah.
I was gonna say that busy, like I think it's like being busy sometimes, because I'm someone who like I need like time to get grounded.
Yeah.
Before I can then feel like connected.
Yeah.
And so then if it's just like so go all the time, it's hard for me to feel like. Then be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so the Soundhouse relationship by Gottman, you have the paper on it, and we're gonna kind of go from bottom to the top. So at the bottom, he starts out with building the love maps, and then sharing fondness and admiration, and then turning toward instead of away, and then the positive perspective, and then managing conflict, making life dreams come true, and creating shared meaning. So he kind of created this to help couples grow closer together. If you kind of follow these steps, he believes that they're very important. He had like a love lab, I think they call it. So he's like a big researcher into.
Yeah, they like could study couples for like years.
Yeah.
Like, and then do these like love lab, like simulations where people go live in like an apartment in Seattle for a week and just kind of do normal life, and they just observe like everything about this couple kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know a lot of research.
So the first one is building love maps. So this is kind of something where we ask our partners like deeper questions. It could be open-ended questions, and you can get to know yourself better also by asking these questions. And some of the example questions is like, what stresses your partner? What are they facing in the future? What is your partner's work here in life? Who's your partner's greatest source of support besides you? So we're gonna spend a few minutes, we may not need 10 minutes, since there's not that many of you guys here, but we're gonna spend a few minutes doing the worksheet that it should be the second one. It says the creating love maps. You're just gonna kind of fill that out. You can do it together as a couple, or if you wanna do it separate, that's totally fine, it's up to you, but kind of just answer these questions and just see how many like you might know, or some things that you might not know yet. But kind of a good grasp what you do. Yeah, so we're gonna spend a few minutes and we're gonna get that. Work together. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Unless he's like, so long, we got this right now. He's like, I'm gonna be walking up to my.
So right now, we're just working on the second worksheet, creating a map, so you can work together and kind of fill that out, or you can use for yourselves. I'll let Oliver- What was your primary? That.
What is your?
I would call that one of our.
Or even though I'm here.
Alright, well,
You're what? No, what? That's true, you are.
Let's get it down to that one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Something on whatever.
It's very.
Like, also the same thing with this unrealized.
Puppy,
Honest and unrealized dream.
It'd be like a dream that you haven't come to fruition yet, maybe, or like, or,
Partners on this unrealized dream.
yeah, I would say something like, dream of like, a ranch one day, and, you know, having horses or something like that, like that.
Well, they might talk about, but then they might not realize that's like.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Alright. What's your,
Maybe she's slow.
we're gonna do like one more minute and then we're gonna wrap it up.
It's just my most. Oh, no, they're. Let's see. Whatever it is.
Oh,
So,
so we're gonna, we'll get back to that, you can fill that out, you know, the end of the night or whenever you get home with your spouse, but that just kind of shows you kind of the questions the Bachman was talking about with kind of getting to know your spouse better or your partner, and asking the appropriate questions, and important questions to kind of build your relationship. And then the second part of the house is the sharing fondness and admiration. So that's basically just remembering how it all started, showing affection and appreciation, vocalizing the characteristics you appreciate. And it means the most when it comes from you. So I feel like this is something that we may forget to do at times, forgetting to really vocalize into our partners, you know, how much they mean to us or how much we appreciate them. I know that's something that I feel like I probably don't do enough. So we're just gonna go around and feel free to share what's one thing that you admire about your partner.
I admire her ability to like manage her calendar. It's like, everything to like the minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
and she can just like perfectly to the point when she wakes up, when she falls asleep, she can do like 12 different jobs in one day, handle everything, go all over Wilmington and everywhere else, and I'm so stuck on what you need.
Anything else to share?
One thing that I learned about my husband is that he is constantly wanting to learn, like every day, all day, just wants to learn something and every single day.
Yeah, I think it's really important to share that with our partners, and let them know that.
Bumpy is really amazing, it's like always doing something like productive and like some learning and it's incredible to someone like me, it's like chill and like. Why would we do that? But he's not telling people that, no, it's like perfect, so cool.
Right, so, the next level is, he talks about turning towards instead of away. So just be listening and attentive, when your partner's talking, put away technology, to lessen distractions, because I feel like it's really hard in the society we live in to maybe be on our phones and, that kind of thing. So there's a little video, so I'm just gonna play that for you. It kind of gives you an example. Oh.
Whoa, what's happening?
You do it back.
Imagine you hear your partner let out an exasperated sigh. In that fleeting moment, you have a choice. Keep going about your day or ask what's on their mind. These small, daily crossroads may seem insignificant, but the choices you make while interacting with your partner could, over time, make or break your relationship. The sigh is what relationship researcher Dr. John Giordano would call a bid for connection. It can be small or big, verbal or nonverbal. We can choose to turn towards our these moments and accept their bid, or turn away from them. The government spent the last 4 decades studying thousands of couples to answer the question, what separates the relationship masters from the relationship disasters? They found a critical difference in how each type of couple responds to bids for connection. In these moments, matches turn towards each other 86% of the time. Disasters turn towards each other only 33%. A tendency to turn towards your partner forms the basis of trust, emotional connection, passion, and a satisfied sex life. When couples break up, it's usually not because of big issues like conflict or infidelity. More often, it's a result of the resentment and distance that builds up over time when partners continually turn away from bids for connection. So take a page from the relationship master's playbook. Notice when your partner makes a bid. Show interest. Ask questions. Listen and put away your screen. Use to turn towards.
So basically what the video talks about, just being really attentive to our partner, you know, whenever we need that attention or support, just be direct and just ask them for that instead of, you know, maybe making little snarly comments, to try to get their attention, maybe just be direct in what you need from them. Yeah, does anyone have anything that they want to ask that, or any ways that you feel like, you may turn towards your partner, or maybe you turn away from them?
One comment, I don't know, if you go.
I was gonna say, I definitely agree that technology nowadays it can make it really hard to, I would say, ignore those bids.
Yeah.
And before you know it, maybe your partner's making a bid, you're on your phone, and you don't even notice it. Sometimes when you're on your phone. So, I would say that, like, at us, we had to, like, after 7 or 8, like, put our phones in silent or do like focus mode or our phones to make sure that that wasn't happening as much as before.
I was just gonna jump in there and comment on the listening, because I'm a massive introvert and I internally process everything. So, you know, shout out to Lance, you've gotten to the point where even the posture of how I open my mouth, I didn't even notice, like, I'll make this little, like, before I speak, and I'll be like, what's something you say? Like, he nails it.
Yeah.
Because he knows that little cue, and I'm like, oh, well, I want to talk about it, and then I'll open up. So I think listening and being attentive really is more than just the big things. Like you said, those tiny little things where he'll call me out and he'll draw me out because he knows internally my mind is like, oh, you're almost an hour somewhere else.
Right,
So I just want to call that out.
yeah. Alright, so the next level is the positive perspective, so don't rush to criticism or offense. Let your partner influence you, believing that you're on the same team solidifies your union and strengthens you from the inside out. And when you think positively of your partner, then you discount negatives. And a positive perspective is partly a mental attitude of willingly focusing on the positives of their relationship. So I think that's really great. I think that something that hits on for me is just like remembering we're on the same team. But I think just keeping that perspective and realizing that you're not against each other, that you're actually together. And don't think negatively of them, even if you like had a stressful day, or maybe they've done something to aggravate you. The way you think about it, you kind of show your actions, how you feel about it. Anyone have any comments they would like to make about being positive perspective of your partner?
That's something I recently spoke about was, trusting and believing that your partner is, in the right posture, and they have like the best intention, like, so they're not out to get you or to
Right.
feeling from purpose or just to be hurtful,
Yeah,
but also that, that they're doing the right thing.
exactly.
Yeah, my husband reminded me of that sometimes, he's like, I'm on your team, remember this.
Yeah. And then the next step, which Gottman feels like is really important, is managing conflict. So the first step in effectively managing conflict is to identify and counteract 4 horsemen when they arrive in your conflict discussions. So you should have a handout. It talks about the 4 horsemen. So Gottman's 4 horsemen that he talks about is criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. So criticism is when we verbally attack our partner's personality or character. We could say things like, "You're so stupid, why did you do that?" Contempt would be attacking the sense of self with intent to insult or abuse. So meaning to do it. And then defensiveness is victimizing yourself to ward off a perceived attack and reverse the blame. And then stonewalling is withdrawing to avoid conflict. So he believes instead of criticism, we should gentle start up. So talk about using feelings using I statements and express a positive need. So instead of saying like, "You did this," say like, "I feel upset right now. Give me a minute down," instead of make it where it says like using I statements, instead of criticizing your partner. I don't know if you have any like thing you want to add to the criticism part, or
I always think of like criticism and contempt as like stuff
Together.
together a little bit, because
Yeah.
like criticism to me is kind of like the surface layer. Like, gosh, you're always so terrible about how you load the dishwasher, right? Whereas like contempt is kind of like the evil twin, that's the deeper rooted belief that you start to get about your partner. So instead of it just being like, gosh, you load the dishwasher wrong, it becomes like, you're a lazy SOB and I don't want anything to do, or like something along those lines, right? So it's almost like the deeper, kind of levels of it. And yeah, I feel like the criticisms are really easy to throw out, but yeah, using the I statements and the expressing a positive need part of it is like, I feel upset because the house is a mess. I really need your help this week cleaning up, kind of thing. Versus again, never clean, or you're always so whatever.
So he talks about building culture and appreciation. So reminding yourself of your partner's positive qualities and finding gratitude for positive actions. And then defensiveness talks about instead take responsibility. So accept your partner's perspective and offer an apology for any wrongdoing. And then stonewalling, he talks about doing psychological self-soothing. So take a break, spend some time doing something else, walk away from the argument, and always make sure you come back. That's the big important thing. So don't just like walk away from the argument and not come back to it, but make sure that you tell your partner at a specific time, like, give me 10 minutes, or we'll talk about this again in 30 minutes. I need to kind of cool off. Make sure you like give them a time. That way you can say like have anxiety that you're not going to come back or something like that. Make sure it's really important to let them know like a specific time that you want to get back together and talk about it.
With the like physiological self-soothing part, like it's also just important to remember to ground yourself, like in that time, like not just take 30 minutes and get on your phone, you know, but like take 30 minutes, go on a walk, splash your face with cold water, do some deep breathing, like cry if you need to cry, you know, whatever that looks like, so that you're like not feeling physiologically flooded. Yeah, that's the whole point of it, right? Because like we can't have healthy conversations when our heart rate is like above 120, you know?
So which of these do you feel like you need some like work in that area? So like for me, I feel like probably criticism is something I probably should work on. Instead of being like, I took care of this stuff all day, like you go home, you could suffer or something like that. Like instead of criticizing my husband, I feel like I need to work on that. What areas do you feel like you guys?
I've got all four.
Yeah, I don't know what you.
About the culture and appreciation. Cause I'm just someone like you're supposed to do that. Why am I supposed to like praise you for doing that?
Yeah.
And so I could be better about actually appreciating the things that he does.
Yeah.
But even though my mind is like, okay, but girls.
So this kind of gives like another example of a little video about corporate.
It's not my fault we're always late.
Forget it.
Criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Dr. John Gottman calls these negative communication patterns the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse because they'll lead to the end of your relationship. In fact, he can predict this relationship failure with over 90% accuracy if the behavior isn't changed. So what can you do? Well, at the Gottman Institute, we understand you might not even know you're communicating this way, or you might not know how to control it. But if you practice the following 4 research-based antidotes, there is hope for your future. Criticism attacks the character of the recipient instead of focusing on a specific behavior. The antidote to criticism is to talk about your feelings using I statements, then express a positive need. Contempt is an expression of superiority that comes out of sarcasm, cynicism, name-calling, eye-rolling, sneering, mockery, and hostile humor. Contempt is the greatest predictor of relationship failure and must be eliminated. The antidote to contempt is to treat one another with respect and build a culture of appreciation within the relationship. Defensiveness is self-protection through righteous indignation or fighting the victim. Defensiveness never solves the problem and is really just an underhanded way of blaming your partner. The antidote to defensiveness is to accept responsibility, even if only for part of the conflict. Stonewalling occurs when the listener withdraws from the conversation without resolving anything. It takes time for the negativity created by the first 3 horsemen to result in stonewalling, but when it does, it can become a habit. The antidote to stonewalling is to break for at least 20 minutes, calm down, then return to the conversation. Spare your relationship from certain destruction. Learn more about eliminating 4 horsemen by visiting our site.
That was a little more in depth about the 4 horsemen. So just make sure that you remember not to use should statements, like you should always do this, or you're never doing this. And then the next level of the house is making dreams come true. So what is your partner's dream and does it fit yours? So it's important to listen and remember your partner's dreams and life goals, because if you don't reach a mutual understanding, you can very easily crush your partner's dreams in the process of pursuing their goals. Does anyone have an example or want to share maybe something that you feel like that you and your partner, y'all both share the same dreams, or maybe you had a time where your dream didn't fit theirs, or
Actually, give an example of a client that I was working with.
yeah.
I give this example to say that sometimes dreams are smaller. Like it doesn't always have to be like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, or like, yeah, I want to rental properties or whatever, it can be simple things like, well, I say simple. There's just kind of like this idea of being like a power couple, right? Where at least the wife kind of had that idea, like, oh, we're gonna be this power couple, right? Well, you know, if she doesn't communicate what she needs from him, you know, or he's not recognizing that, you know, oh, maybe I'm not really like pulling weight or putting forth effort to learn or, you know, do different things like that, then it kind of like crushes the wife's dream, right? Of like being a power couple. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna carry the weight of everything, so it's really not a power couple, it's like a power me thing, you know, and so even that can be kind of like a dream. Sometimes it's like going unfulfilled and you know, but I don't know, yeah, I just think that's something interesting. Yeah, like, way to think about it, it's like dreams can just be like, I dream of one day having someone who just knows exactly what I need when I need it. Whatever I need it. Yeah. Right, and then another one is creating shared meaning. So developing a culture of symbols and rituals that express who you are as a team. So this could be something, I know Buffy shared with me that like on Tuesdays, her and her husband, the chiropractor, get tacos. So it could be something that you do like every week. It don't have to be nothing big. Like for me, I feel like my husband and I, we order pizza every Friday. I don't know why, but it's do. Yeah. So do you guys have like a specific ritual you do with your spouse or partner? Maybe it could be good.
Brunch.
Yeah.
This is Jane, I'm like, love it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely important to make sure that you have those times set out, maybe just even creating like a ritual that you guys do together. Alright, so you guys have any questions or anything that you want to? I don't even know it's really good about them, but anything you want to like add or talk about? Or have like specific scenarios? Yeah.
Like with the make, like, dreams come true. One thing that I struggle with my husband is, so realistic, and I'm kind of in the middle of realistic and dreamer, and like, I have like creative goals and like dreams, and sometimes it's kind of shoot me down because he's being pretty realistic, and I feel bad that he's not here to like. I'm like, because there's any like ideas of like how I can this. Let me back a little bit. So when he's so realistic, like, you know, obviously I can just still be like, oh, I'm still gonna do this, like, but at the same time, for me, like, I need the encouragement. Because I find it's helpful, yeah, I guess, you know, like thinking, maybe doing something crazy or whatever. But because I don't really know how to like communicate that to him. Like that. I need him, I need his encouragement.
Yeah. Have you tried like this monthly telling him? You could do that.
Yeah.
That is one thing. It's like, hey, I can hear
Yeah.
you know, when I share a dream with you. Or like, so I know I think I probably shared this with you probably before, just because he's a bit more of the realistic one. Well, I don't know, depending on what it is, but I feel like I've like sometimes been like, hey, like, I just want to dream about this, like, can you give me like a little bit of time? And then like, if you see that I'm going off the deep end with it, then like, we can talk the realistic possibilities of things, or like, you know.
When we do really well together, she says we're dreaming.
Okay.
Because when I internalize we're doing this tomorrow, I go practical.
Yeah.
Have the money doing other things, which is squashing your dream, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I think when I communicate that, or when I try to learn more, you know, a little bit of both, I can recognize that, like, oh, we're dreaming right now. This is like, gotta be done tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it like kind of cultivate, I think, some more of that conversation, like, what is like is this dream like a real dream that's like, I really want to do this in my life, or is this just one of those dreams that's like, I'm just spitting off the cuff? You know, 'cause I think we all have those, you know, and so it's like having the encouragement on the front end, or just being like, wow, that's interesting, you know, even just giving him some phrases that he might be saying. You know, that just make you feel like he's listening, he's not shooting it down right away. So sometimes y'all can tell Paul like, okay, here's what I need you to say to me next time. Next time I come to you with this, but I let you know.
Like, I think like, there was a period where she kept showing houses.
Oh yeah, I was like on Zillow every day.
You know, I want houses in there.
Like,
But she was dreaming, and I did not do a good job of being like, oh, that's,
just
you
to
know.
me, I'm a dreamer, but I'm also like a values-based dreamer, right? And so it's like, well, if we have all these variables lined up, then that's when we do it. But I also can be like excited about like, oh, I can find this one variable piece, you know, that goes into the dream. And but he's like, whoa, that's too much, you know? So yeah, you just like communicate directly. Anything we wanna add to the session?
You guys said that, sometimes agreeing to disagree, can be, like a compromise.
Wait, so you're asking like, can disagree be a
So
compromise?
agreeing to disagree.
Oh, agreeing to disagree. Oh,
Is that like a?
agree to disagree. Oh. Disagree, meaning compromise.
Yeah, because it's like, probably not that you were lying,
Mm-hmm.
and you get try to understand, like, we can understand each other's point of view, but it's like, not. Like, I'm not saying like huge, but
Mm-hmm.
we run into that too.
Yeah, well,
Important, like.
I was gonna say, I can get my opinion that if that's a compromise, if that's something that like both parties can actually be okay with it being a compromise, you know what I mean? Like if it's something that I think like, I know for me, if it was like an agree to disagree situation, in the back of my mind, I'm harboring some sort of resentment or bitterness that he's never gonna like hear me out or understand me, so it might not work, like trying. Like, do y'all have like a specific, like a small example? Maybe I don't remember the one that we. I don't wanna like get into the meat and potatoes. Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah, like try to create boundaries with in laws.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
We could, that with your siblings every weekend, or we could not.
Yeah. We're not just saying, because that sounds like too black and white, yeah, so it's like maybe in that situation, it's worth identifying. What is an actual compromise of like, I know you and Paul are like this with our family, like vacation time or whatever, like when we go visit family. He could hang out with his family for like a week and a half and just be fine, and I'm like, I have a 3-day family now. You know, like, it's pretty strict. But like, well, we've like had to communicate about that, and I've had to like explain why it's like a struggle for me. And so sometimes we'll be in the middle, I'll be like 4 or 5 days, and sometimes it's like, hey, we're just gonna do a 2-day thing, because that's like all we can, you know, make happen. And sometimes it might have to be situational with some of this, so maybe not make like hard rules about the whole of it, but like.
Yeah, 'cause you can't just disagree. You have to, like, we have to sacrifice a little bit. And meet in the middle. But I think without that, then it's kind of avoid the love aspect of it. And it's just like, well, we disagree, so
Yeah.
it's more so like, all right, well, how do we sacrifice in ways that we can kind of meet in the moments? Where she can hang out with my family and not die, you know?
Yeah. It's just standing there. I would say. Types of the building the love maps. Yeah, like knowing each other's world, also knowing your own world a little bit, because. Like for me, something that I have to communicate sometimes is like, hey, here's why I don't wanna go on like family vacation for 5 days, so that only gets so many vacation days to begin with. And then I also just need like adventure as part of like my vacation to actually go refueled and refilled to come back to work, right? So like you have to kind of know yourself, I think, sometimes to be able to communicate that with your partner to say like, here's why it's not, I don't hate your family. That's not what it is. Like, it's just here's the other things that I need, and in order to make all these other things accomplished, we've got to figure out what's the balance. You know, something along those lines. It's like knowing your own self enough to say, well, because you know, in that situation, it could be where y'all are like, well, we're just not gonna hang out with your family, right? But then it's like, well, why is that? And what do you actually just need instead? Yeah. And being able to communicate that.
Yeah, I think that's not, you know, but I personally think.
That, even if it's like, hey, I just need one-on-one time with you and I haven't had that. You know, would make it probably feel, I don't know, you tell me alive, it's like,
Yeah, I mean, that's usually what that's gonna come.
yeah, but like, doesn't that make you feel, you know, better to know it's like, she just really wants quality time with you
Yeah.
versus like, she just doesn't want to hang out with you.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, knowing versus not knowing, I get all the, like, ideas in my head.
Yeah.
Why, instead of, she just tells me, then it kind of, like I said, makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just really listening to our partners too, and not having it automatically in our head, like whenever you get the example about how you only wanted like 3 days with the family, like not already having it in our head, like, oh, she hates my family, you know.
Not on the phone.
But you know, for that. And I think that's like going back to the idea too, of just like understanding your partner's world, right? Asking those deeper questions, the whole like, I guess, yeah, building love maps still, it's just like asking, like, well, what do you need out of family vacation time? Or like, why do you want to spend so much time with your family? What do you get out of it? Or, you know, asking those questions before coming up with like answers. Yeah, yeah. What do you feel like has been most helpful in this like presentation? Get well done. You feel like there was a certain area that you feel like you learned more about, or maybe you didn't know about the sound house, Stockman?
I think it was just a good reminder of like. The things that feel so small, but they're so big in a relationship. Yeah, I think even having a baby, sometimes can like throw everything off, so you have to like restructure the whole thing again.
Yeah.
So I think even that's just like a good reminder. Oh.
Yeah.
Just creating a lot of awareness. Yeah, I think I like a lot of the exercise. Like I'm gonna go and do the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you know all those things like about your partner. I think it's good because I was even thinking like we were looking at the best friends question, like who are your 2 closest friends right now? And I think like even stuff like that kind of changes with like seasons that you're in, you know?
Yeah.
So like being able to just re-ask those questions, like right, I gave the example this morning with my couple, just like you could buy a brand new car. And it's bright and shiny and new and works great, right? And then like you get around to that mileage point where you got to put the oil in, right? You gotta change the oil. And it's like, well, you don't just go one time and change the oil, like your car would burn up. And then when you're on the side of the road smoking, you're like, what the heck happened to my car, right? So it's the same kind of thing I feel like in relationships, like you have to like revisit simple questions, you know, just like understand and keep up with each other and where we're at, you know. All right, so we're, I'll let y'all introduce yourselves. I know that you're later coming in, but, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Cecilia. I'm a trade therapist center, so I was interested in going further. If you guys consider it now. And but yeah, I've been here, I did my internship here, and I work here, and it's very exciting. It's been
fulfilling and hard work. Love it here. And this is on Enzo. Amazing for 3 months, yeah. He's, one of the very brand new people. Yeah, it's doing a lot of work. Yeah, a lot of work.
I'm gonna spot it, it's now super. Like you said, it's just a nice reminder that even when things get crazy, there's just little things that you can be doing to, just be in communication with each other.
Yeah.
Super important, and I'm glad we're communicating.
Guys, I'm Hannah. I'm Moran, fresh, new therapist here. First day. Yeah. These are super awesome resources, just love that, I mean, that's awesome. So